Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined as always by my guy on the East Coast, Nate Weitzer. Another sweet article up on playpicks.com for you guys with everything you need, best bets and DFS strategy. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page, as we're going to drop a gift card prop opportunity on you guys here in just a moment. And as always, if you do need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to FDPicks.com or DKPicks.com. Find all those local listings in your area, such as what we're about to jump into for tonight, Nate, the 5th on Wednesday. Let's get it.
Yeah, happy Cinco de Mayo out there. Let's get some money here in the NBA, starting with the Celtics, -10 at the Magic. Jaylen Brown is probably out for that one. Blazers are -11 at Cavs. The Suns are a pick'em game right now at the Hawks. The Kings +5.5 at Pacers. De'Aaron Fox has an outside chance to return tonight. The Sixers are -14 at Houston because they don't mess around with bad teams. The Wizards right now +6.5 at the Bucks. Grizzlies -4.5 at the Wolves. Your Knicks are +3 at the Nuggets, and the Spurs are +7.5 at the Jazz. If you've been watching this show for a while, you know what Josh is going to start with, and you know why.
Yeah, I mean, until the wheels fall off, that's how long we're going to continue to ride the Knicks, who not only win straight up, they're winning against the spread as well during this incredible streak where they only lost to the Suns after Chris Paul and Devin Booker really put it to him. But, what I'm looking for tonight for Denver, man, is just who they're missing, right? You've got Monta Morris out, you've got Dozier out, you've got Will Barton all out tonight, meaning it's really just going to be the Michael Porter Jr. and Nikola Jokic show on offense. Aaron Gordon hasn't really been quite the spark on offense that they were hoping for. He went 2 for 7 the other night in that loss to the Lakers. And then just continuing to just ride what we know the Knicks are doing well. They've upped their 3-point percentage a ton, which is the reason that they've been so good since the start of April. They lead the league in 3-point percentage since that time at almost 44%. RJ Barrett, a huge reason for that, shooting 49% from 3 points since the start of April. And then you look at what they've done since Derrick Rose. It's time to really look at the sample size of who they are with him. They're 21-8 with him this season, 16-20 without him. And in the last 8 games, especially, he's averaged almost 20 points and 5 assists a game, shooting 50% from 3. And his plus minus is really, really noticeable. It's not my favorite stat to share, but at 105 over, plus minus over the last 8 games, that's very, very good when Derrick Rose is on the floor. And without the guard play for Denver tonight, look at Derrick Rose to really be able to come in off the bench, do what he does against second units, and then come in at the end of the game and help finish it for them. I really like what they're able to do with the help that they're getting. A little bit of a trend against Denver. They are 2-6 in their last 8 against winning teams. They've been good historically in recent matchups against the Knicks, but this is a much, much different Knicks team, even than the one that they played earlier this year when they beat them by almost 20, especially with no Jamal Murray and all the guards that we mentioned that are out for them. So I am looking for the Knicks to be able to take advantage of that tonight. It started about 5.5 points down to about 3.5. I still like that money line right there, which I'll sprinkle a little bit on at about almost plus 150 on my money. And then I'll probably look to tease them up as well, just to feel a little bit safer about it. I don't think that they lose by more than, say 7 points or so.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the trend with Denver is close games. The MVP doing what he does down the stretch, but Jokic actually doesn't have the best numbers against the Knicks, and that's not even these good defensive Knicks teams. He's averaging just under 20 points per game his last 7 against them. You mentioned Derrick Rose, another Tibbs throwback, right? Taj Gibson playing a huge impact on defense as well, can help throw another body at Jokic. I mean, the Knicks are they're just leading a charmed life, and more importantly, they're just bringing an absolute effort every time, which is just such a cheat code at this point in the season because other teams are not. They will pack it in. And that's the same logic I'm using for the Phoenix Suns tonight. I mean, yes, they're on a back-to-back after winning an overtime last night. It's the end of another road trip for them. And we saw what happened last time they faced a hot team at the end of a road trip, right? Chris Paul just took over the game down the stretch, beat the Knicks. Now they're facing a Hawks team that's won 6 straight at home. Great. They've been pretty solid at home this year, but have not won any close games. I'm talking literally 0 close games. They have 4 wins that have even been by single digits, and those were at least 7 or 8 points. The Hawks do what they do against bad teams. They win on both sides of the ball and coast, but I don't think they're built for this type of life that Chris Paul leads, which is clutch down the stretch. They are just 14-21 against winning teams. They're 13-19 when listed as underdogs, to that point that they don't win unexpectedly too often. And they struggle in terms, I mean, they deny the 3-point shot, but that's left them vulnerable in the mid-range. They give up the third most mid-range points at home. We know what Chris Paul does, and the Suns are second on 2-point percentage. The Suns have the fourth best offensive rating on the road over their last 8. And just for the second year in a row, Chris Paul led teams best against the spread, best, some crazy numbers straight up, just 22-9 on the road, 20-8 versus the Eastern Conference, and 11-4 on back-to-back sets. So I love getting the Suns at even with no spread basically right now. I'm absolutely super confident in that.
Yeah, it's almost scary simple to me to take the Suns right now as well. I think the only thing working against them, obviously, we keep this down because of the recent games that they played, the lack of rest. But I would still say, at the end of the day, it's who do you trust more when it comes to crunch time? Do you think this game's going to remain close for the majority of it until the Suns are able to pull away? I do, and I love what they're able to do against Eastern Conference teams. They have not let down at all there. So feeling that one. And I did want to say this is a good time to give our gift prop there, Nate, our gift card prop, as we're looking for the winner of this game and the exact margin between the Suns and the Hawks there. So give us who you think will win between those two teams and add the total point spread that they'll win by in the comments. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to be eligible for that gift card. Nate, moving on to the other game that I really like tonight, Minnesota-Memphis. There's just something fun about the alliteration there, and definitely the fact that both of these teams are not playing defense at all. So actually Minnesota has been a lot better recently, 6-3 in their last 9 straight up. They're actually 7-1 and 1 against the spread in that time. Memphis is actually trending the other way. They're 3-6 in their last 9. Bad time for them as they're looking to make a playoff run, and 4-5 against the spread in that time as well. And I'm really looking at the amount of points that they're giving up each in that time frame as well. In the last 9, Minnesota is allowing the 7th most points per game. Memphis actually averaging the 4th most points per game, just gave up 118 to the Knicks. So they're both playing at a very fast pace as well in that time. Minnesota's up to about 8th in pace. Memphis is about 10th fastest, and the main reason I'm looking at this sample size is because this is the Minnesota team that we expected to see all season. They're probably a lot closer to a just sub 500 team than they are, the third worst team in the league right now when they've got Cat, D'Lo, and Edwards all on the floor together. So, that's been the case as of late. The result has been still really bad on defense, 9th worst rating for Minnesota, but a bunch more points, averaging about 118 a game. And they're both, as we said, just giving up a ton of points right now. And also allowing both teams are allowing their opposition to shoot a ton of threes and make a high percentage of them, both in the bottom 5 or 6 in opponent 3-point percentage. And then also the last thing, which we like to attack when we have a total, is the free throws. Both teams are giving up a ton of free throws. Minnesota the 6th most, Memphis the 2nd most. So I'm looking for this game to be fast paced, and then both teams be able to get to the line, get some easy points. I feel really good about the over in this one.
Yeah, Memphis has this really stark home road thing going on, where on the road they've gone over in 12 of their last 16, and they just play at such a faster pace. Yeah, the Wolves obviously at home are just giving up a bevy of points. You mentioned close to 120 points per game in general over their last 10. So yeah, I could see this game going over 240. The total's climbed up to 237 at the moment, but I would bet it all the way to 240. I think we'll get in the 120s in a close game here. I think the same thing could happen in Milwaukee tonight as the Bucks go on the second leg of a back-to-back after shooting it out with the Nets. I mean, Giannis probably needs a breather if he is actually kind of hobbled by that ankle injury in any way, but in any case, the Wizards are not going to let up. Westbrook and Beal, their numbers against the Bucks especially have been really impressive. Their last 6 games, Westy averaging a triple-double. I mean, nothing to see there. He's got 65 points and 29 assists in 2 meetings this season, shooting 45% from 3, which is pretty erratic, and getting to the free throw line, which is something the Bucks usually deny. and would be good for that over. Bradley Beal has been unconscious against the Bucks, 37.5 points per game, almost 50% from three his last six meeting with Milwaukee. The Bucks were trending under, but they're still playing at the fourth fastest pace with the third best offensive rating since the break, and they're the number one scoring team at home, getting 120 points per game, which is why 20 of their 32 home games have gone over. And the Wizards have. I mean, I also just like the Wizards to cover here, which I think leads to a higher scoring game because the Bucks, when they get into those close games, will both let up points and score points. In fact, in the past week, these teams are second and third in fourth quarter points per game. So that's great for getting a live bet in there. Maybe if this starts a little slower than it could. As we've seen with Wizards games, they have not started slow, so you might want to just bet it now while you can at 242. But even more than the over, actually, I just like the Wizards to cover. I like plus 6.5 right now, which they've covered in 6 straight against Eastern Conference teams, 11 of the last 13 overall, and the 2 they missed were by half a point. So they're a great team to tease up, as you mentioned, with the Knicks. Yeah. If you can get them at 10 points. I know the Bucks have won a lot of double-digit games, but I don't see that happening on a back-to-back here against a Wizards team that's playing at a very high level right now.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that you're going to see the Bucks have to keep up with that Wizards pace tonight. As you mentioned, Bradley Beal goes insane against that team. He steps up big time, as the Bucks have been the team to beat in the East as of late. So, I think that is something to look for there. I do love Washington, as we continue to say. This is that part of the season where Washington's playing as they should have been playing all season if they had their 2 stars healthy and rolling. So I think you're still getting a ton of value with the Wizards there. Anything you like in DFS, either in that game or anywhere else tonight, Nate?
Yeah, I love that game for DFS. I like Bradley Beal just way cheaper than Westbrook, and I do think he pays off on that price tag. And I would pair him with Middleton or Drew Holiday, based on what I'm saying. With Giannis maybe stepping down after playing the Nets so hard. Isaac Okoro, look at him go off last night, the rookie for a career high. So why not give him another shot against the Blazers? And Kevin Love recently mentioning how he would love to play for his hometown team. Also a tournament play to consider. For the Magic, visiting Boston, RJ Hampton has stepped into a big role, and Mo Bamba has passed Wendell Carter, who I think sprained his ankle and isn't right now. And as always, guys with absolutely no history of success will step up and ball out against the Celtics and probably cause them to fail to cover against the worst teams in the league, which they do all the time. The Kings on a back-to-back, DeLon Wright and Marvin Bagley are going to be your guys as long as De'Aaron Fox doesn't come back. And Domantas Sabonis has been going nuts for the fast-paced Pacers, so gotta like him. And then as just reliable plays, Joe Ingles and Royce O'Neal, with the Jazz still missing their 2 guards, Mitchell and Conley.
Yeah, and if you do think there will be any points scored in that Denver game, you might look at MPJ or any one of those guards for cheap, as they have a ton of injuries as well. But that is Campazzo. That's all the time we have for today, y'all. Remember to like and subscribe to that page. Jump in the comments. Let us know how many, what the disparity, the difference in points will be between the Suns and the Hawks. Who will win? How much they will win by? And be eligible, as we said. Make sure you are liked and subscribed to that page. We will be back with another large slate for you guys tomorrow night. And as for tonight, happy betting.